And once again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK EU podcast and YouTube channel. And today we are joined by the lovely Zuyapa. Zuyapa, how are you?
I am absolutely incredible today and grateful to be here.
Wonderful. And I have to comment on camera as well. I absolutely adore that yellow background. Everything just looked amazing, and I just love it. So thank you for bringing a bit of sunshine into our life.
You're welcome. It was by design. There's
Yeah.
lots of color, there's lots of brightness and vitality. So we're just going to share that through the screen for all the viewers.
Yes, it really does. I love it. I love it. Now, can you tell us? I mean, your background is incredible. I mean, you've done so much, and you've been involved in the beauty world, you've been in production world and therapy world. All these different types of things, and so I was hoping that you could help us understand what the importance of a path is in our, maybe in our daily life, because maybe in this, people assume that walking a spiritual path, that it's kind of an isolating thing, or that we don't mix with people, or these funny concepts that are around. So what would you say?
Yeah, that's a really big one. I would say that we are so much. We are so many things, right? As you're saying, my background is very varied, and now I'm enmeshed in the spiritual world. But I think the thing is that these two things they're not really separate. And I think that's the issue that we come across, where there's this concept of being in the world and having success, and then also being spiritual, for example, when we really are spiritual beings. And so, as we're living our life, we are going to have physical experiences. We are going to go to school. We are going to express ourselves. We are going to have relationships, because that is the design of life, right? We all know this. Okay. But there is also that spiritual aspect. And that is what we really have the opportunity to bring into life, to even clarify, what we are really doing with our physical experiences, or bring in more direction into the physical experiences, bring in more clarity and more purpose and joy into these experiences, so that instead of sort of meandering through our lives, doing this thing and that thing, we have more purpose, we have more connection. And I think too, that just becomes less confusion and more, meaning, because I think we all know people who've had physical success but feel empty, or people who are very, very, very spiritual, but then, have trouble figuring out what to do with life. And these things are, it's very normal. We all have inclinations that are built into our architecture. But when we can really marry the two and bring the energy in, bring the spirit in, as long as we are also really living full lives, then that creates a new opportunity for, I think, a different level of satisfaction.
I really love that you mentioned that full life, and you brought the attention to those two dynamics of, you can be very spiritual, or you can be very successful, and there's opposite ends. And what we're talking about is having that balance, about walking the path. So for you, do you think that is it more beneficial to have some kind of path that you can keep coming back to, or is it okay for perhaps people to hop around and do different things, or perhaps just do one thing? What from your experience, what would you say is a more effective way?
From my personal experience, I definitely think that having a path is the more effective way. Before I was initiated and really began progressing on this path with the Modern Mystery School, I was also bouncing around. So, I would do like a training here or a training there, and I was putting things together to help, people who were wanting to work with me, but I could see that something was missing. And even in myself, I felt like something was missing in terms of what I was able to accomplish, or how effective I was able to be in helping people. But because I always wanted to just help people. But then when I personally received the life activation, and then personally went to empower thyself, and something shifted in me, and I saw that that was the missing piece. But not only in how I could help people, but in how I was then changing and evolving. And so I began to see that, part of it is, how are we growing and evolving? How are we shedding, I think, the things that keep us from, you know, being more fully aware and awake, and also experiencing the difference in, I'm kind of getting off base, we're talking about a path, but I think I'm thinking about the experience that I had of walking on the path, which was getting to experience in real time what it means to heal, experiencing in real time what it means to do it gradually but consistently, and recognizing that it's kind of shifting your baseline at every point. And then, you can change and you can feel better. And then you start to veer off. You're like, oh, wait, I have this to come back to. I have this experience that I already had before. And I know that there's something else. And I know that I can go a little bit further this time. So I think that having the path, and it's consistent, and the next step, it helps, because even if you take, a side road, or you have another experience, that, oh, maybe now it's time for me to take that next step, rather than, I don't know what to do now, let me go and try something else. And then you never really believe in anything, because you never gave it, there wasn't like a consistent thing for you to really follow and see, I don't know, like a real sustainable benefit.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to that, because I was the same. I was doing things here and there, and then I would read lots of things, and then I would try and go, oh my goodness, well, that matches with this and this, and then I would be like, no further forward. I would be like,
Yeah.
it would be like, oh, okay, well, I've done all of that, and then I'm still doing the same. I'm doing the same patterns and same things in my life, and that's what I loved when I found the path. It's like, oh, okay, so I can come back, I can live life, I can do all of my stuff, be with my family, business, all that kind of stuff, and then, oh, here I go, I can do that, as you were saying, that next healing, that next class, that next, whatever it is. I love that. Do you think that the path helps us be more in the world, or do you think it takes us out, like away from friends, family, business?
Yeah, I think it is true. I do think that in the beginning, there may be a little bit of separation, but that is only in the process of people coming to figure out who they are, and needing a little bit of break to create that distance, to say, oh, wait, what were the attachments? What were the things that I was kind of involved in that weren't really me? But then as you do that, you do come into a more full sense of yourself, which then helps your relationships, because you're better able to relate. It helps you, you have a success because you feel better inside of yourself. And I think, and what you were saying, I think that's also a really important part of the path, is that recognizing that it's not just about modalities. It's not just about having a good relationship. It's not just about being successful. It's that you are the key. You are the one walking the path. You are the one discovering yourself, and this greater sense of being in yourself, and it's more soft and powerful in yourself, which then helps you to have a full life. Because all this, all the things that we feel like we need to run from, the difficult relationships, or I don't like this job, I don't like that job, or, you want to go off and have a vacation. All these things are great, but the thing is, you are the key to all of those experiences. And so as you're walking that path of light and building and cultivating that light within you, you are the one changing and shifting. And then so every single thing in your life also begins to evolve. But then at the same time, you're releasing all of the things that you were holding inside, all these patterns and traumas and triggers and ideas and all these things. So then everything else is just a bit more fine anyway. I find that like compassion comes more easily, and understanding comes more easily, and just feeling joyful in yourself. And you're a bit less concerned about, whatever other drama someone else is going through. And yeah, I don't know, for myself, I just feel better in life overall. And even when I do go through something, I can see it because my baseline is different. And so I'm like, okay, let me just deal with this thing, but I know that I'm okay.
I mean, that is, our time is almost up, but I mean, that is extremely powerful, that knowing that I'm going to be okay. It's like, if we could bottle that up and give that to to everybody out there, I think that's the one thing that everybody would say, I just need to know that I can deal with it and I'm going to be okay, that so powerful.
Absolutely. I mean, and we say all the time, especially in the world now, but that is such a big thing in the world now, this feeling of, helplessness or confusion. I mean, there's just so much going on. I think, there's always something going on in the world, but right now it's very, very, very intense. And so, yeah, people, there is more, there is a way to feel at ease. There is a way to be able to accept reality when you can understand the totality of reality. And that's something I've been talking about a lot lately as well. We can get caught in these small concepts of the mind, of politics, of, even in the religious context, right? Like God and the Bible and religion. But what I find what we're missing is, for example, in psychology, we study the human mind, but not the mind of God. And so there's a limit. Or we want to study how to manifest, but not how the mind of God creates or the universe works. And so I find that on the path, this one especially, because we go through and experience so many different levels of the multidimensionality of existence, that's what also helps you to feel okay and to know that everything is good, because there's more of an understanding of what life itself is. Because when that's missing, then we get confused, then we get scared, and we sort of spiral because we expect life to be something that it isn't. But what can be different, what can be a way to pull ourselves forward and to rise above, is understanding that this spiritual aspect will uplift you, and that it will give you more of a sense of belonging and meaning and purpose within the world that is what the world is, without the expectation of it to be different. So I think that's really empowering, and having, this path in particular, like I said, I've done many things before, but nothing like this path and the depth and breadth and all the different possibilities of learning and training and cultivating that really gives, a well-rounded foundation for life.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. And please, we're going to get you back on, because I know we always have lots of, the time is always short. The time is always short, but we'd love to have you back on. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for doing this and creating the space to share.
Yeah, it's amazing. And if you are in New Orleans or New York, sometime on occasion, you can get in touch with Zuyapa. She would be happy to, I'm sure, to have a chat with you. And please reach out. And thank you for tuning in. And thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Good night.